Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be stepping into the shoes of a meter reader,
Oh, wow.
a job that honestly most of us probably don't think about very often,
Yeah, no kidding.
but that is super essential to keeping our world running.
Yeah, keeping the lights on, literally.
Exactly, and what we have is really cool for this episode.
I'm excited.
We have a set of interview questions and answers for aspiring meter readers.
Well, that's a really unique angle. I like that.
Yeah, so we thought this would be a fun way to kind of get a behind-the-scenes look at what this job really entails.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what kind of questions they ask.
Yeah, me too. And it's funny, like I said, we don't often think about meter readers, but I mean, I see them out and about in my neighborhood all the time.
Yeah.
And I always kind of wave,
Right.
but I never really stop to think about like what their day-to-day is like.
Yeah, what their job actually involves.
But these questions really get into it.
Oh, wow.
Everything from like dealing with dogs
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
to making sure those readings are accurate, down to the last digit.
Yeah, because those readings are important.
Super important, yeah.
I mean, they determine our bills.
Right, exactly. So it's kind of high stakes in a way.
That's true. Yeah.
And I think what's really interesting, too, is that these questions kind of hint at the fact that there's way more to this job than just like, walking around and reading meters.
Right. It seems like it requires a really unique blend of skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you have to be technical, obviously, but also good with people.
Yeah.
And probably pretty physically fit, too.
Oh, for sure, because they're out there in all kinds of weather.
Rain or shine.
Yeah, exactly. So let's jump into some of these questions.
Okay, let's go.
And see what we can uncover.
Sounds good.
So one of the first things that jumps out at me from the source material is the emphasis on both technical skills and soft skills.
Right. Like they're not just looking for someone who can read numbers.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
specifically mentions communication and problem solving as key requirements, which at first I was like, huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, why is that so important for a meter reader?
But then I realized that meter readers are often the only like face-to-face interaction that people have with the utility company.
Oh, that's true.
It's like they're kind of like ambassadors in a way.
Yeah, they're representing the company.
Right. They're out there answering questions, explaining bills, maybe even smoothing things over if a customer is upset.
Oh, yeah. Dealing with complaints probably comes with the territory.
Yeah, for sure.
So good customer service skills are essential.
Totally. And there's actually a sample answer in here about dealing with an angry customer.
Oh, really?
And it's all about de-escalation, staying calm, really emphasizing that customer service aspect.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
The utility company wants to build trust with the community,
Right.
and the meter reader is often the one who's building that trust.
Okay, so we've got the customer service element, but then there's also the physical side of the job.
Right. They're out there walking around all day.
And not just like, a stroll in the park.
No, they're dealing with the elements.
Yeah, the source material actually says extremely cold winters and hot summers.
Wow. So they have to be prepared for anything.
Yeah, and comfortable working outdoors in all kinds of conditions.
Talk about resilience.
Seriously. I'm never going to complain about checking my mail again.
I hear you.
So it's not just like reading dials anymore either.
What do you mean?
Well, they actually talk about needing to be comfortable with technology,
Oh, interesting.
which I thought was kind of funny.
Why is that?
Well, because I had this like image in my head of, someone hunched over a meter with a pen and paper.
The old school way, yeah.
Exactly, but it's way more high-tech than that.
So they're using like digital devices or something?
Yeah, they mention handheld devices and GPS.
Huh. So even in a job as traditional as this technology is changing things up.
It seems like it, yeah.
Makes you wonder how the role of the meter reader will continue to evolve with all these advancements.
That is a good question, isn't it?
Yeah, like with smart meters and all that.
Right, are meter readers going to become obsolete?
Maybe not obsolete, but their job will definitely change.
Yeah, I'm already starting to see how this is more complex and demanding than I initially thought.
Definitely more to it than meets the eye.
Okay, so we've talked about the tech side, the customer service, the physical demands.
What else is there?
Well, there's one question that really stood out to me.
Oh, which one?
It's the one about going beyond the job description to assist customers.
Oh, yeah, that one caught my eye too. Tell me
Okay.
more about that. So it asks how a potential meter reader would handle a situation where a customer clearly needs help understanding their bill,
Oh, yeah.
even though it's not technically part of the job description.
Right, right.
Like maybe an elderly person who's confused or someone who doesn't speak English fluently.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like, are you just going to read the meter and walk away?
Or are you going to take that extra step,
Exactly.
help
Oh.
someone out?
And it seems like a meter reader could really make a difference in those situations.
Oh, totally. Especially for people who might be struggling or, just need a little extra help.
It's all about that human touch, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes a simple explanation can go a long way.
totally.
In fact, one of the sample answers even mentions that meter readers are sometimes the first point of contact for people who are having trouble paying their bills
Oh, wow.
or who need to be connected with assistance programs.
I wouldn't have thought of that.
It's like they're playing a much bigger role in the community than I realized,
Yeah, it's kind of like a social service in a way.
right? They're not just reading meters, they're connecting with people.
That's really cool.
But let's not forget this job isn't without its challenges.
Right.
Remember that question about personal safety?
Oh, yeah, the one about dogs.
Exactly.
Right.
Especially when encountering potentially aggressive animals.
Okay. That one kind of made me shudder.
Yeah, I mean, I love dogs,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't want to be caught off guard by one while I'm trying to read a meter.
No kidding.
The source material emphasizes the importance of staying alert, following safety protocols,
Right.
and knowing what to do if you encounter an unfriendly animal.
So what kind of safety protocols are we talking about?
Well, they recommend things like being aware of your surroundings,
Okay.
avoiding sudden movements if an animal approaches,
Right?
and carrying a personal alarm or even pepper spray is permitted.
Wow. So it's like they're really prepared for anything.
They have to be.
I mean, it's kind of like they're putting themselves out there. Yeah.
Right. They're facing potential hazards to keep things running smoothly for the rest of us.
And on top of that, they have to be accurate and detail-oriented with the readings themselves.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's not just about showing up. There's real skill involved.
Those readings are important.
Yeah, I never really thought about it. But they're ultimately what determines our utility bills, right?
Exactly. Inaccurate readings can lead to billing errors and customer disputes.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
So there's a lot riding on the meter reader's ability to collect data accurately and efficiently.
So it seems like the ideal candidate needs to be a jack of all trades.
Right.
Tech savvy, physically fit, a good communicator, and able to think on their feet.
Kind of like an urban adventurer.
I like that.
Someone who's not afraid to get their hands dirty
Exactly.
and who understands the importance of accuracy and attention to detail.
It's fascinating how these seemingly simple interview questions have uncovered so many layers to this profession.
I know, right? We've talked about customer service, physical demands, technology safety.
It's way more than just reading meters.
Is there anything else that stands out to you from these questions?
Thinking back to that question about going above and beyond to help customers,
Yeah,
it really stuck with me.
me too.
But isn't there a risk that meter readers could overstep their boundaries if they get too involved?
That's a good question.
Like, where do you draw the line between helpfulness and potentially crossing a line?
It's a delicate balance for sure.
On the one hand, you want to empower them to provide excellent customer service and be compassionate.
Right.
But on the other hand, they're not social workers.
Exactly.
And there are limits to what they can realistically do.
And I think that's where training comes in.
Okay.
It's about equipping them with the tools and knowledge to assess situations, offer appropriate assistance,
Right?
and know when to refer customers to other resources if needed.
So the ideal meter reader training program would need to cover a pretty wide range of topics.
We've already touched on technical skills, safety protocols, and customer service.
Right.
But it would also need to include modules on conflict resolution, de-escalation techniques,
Wow.
and ethical decision-making.
It really paints a picture of how multifaceted this job truly is.
It does, and it highlights how important it is to recruit and train individuals who are not only skilled,
Yeah.
but also compassionate and dedicated to serving their communities.
Okay, so we've established that being a meter reader is a lot more complex than most people realize.
Definitely.
But what does this all mean for the listener,
Yeah.
for everyday folks like us who benefit from their work?
That's a great question. And I think the key takeaway here is a renewed sense of appreciation
Okay.
for the people who keep our essential services running smoothly,
Right.
often behind the scenes and without much recognition.
It's easy to take those services for granted until there's a problem, right?
Exactly. We flip a switch and the lights come on.
Right.
You turn on the tap and water flows.
But there's a whole network of people, including meter readers, working tirelessly to make that happen.
And the next time you see a meter reader in your neighborhood, maybe give them a nod or a wave of thanks.
Yeah, I like that.
They're out there, rain or shine, ensuring that our utilities function seamlessly.
I think you've given us a lot to think about today.
It's been a pleasure exploring this with you.
It's been eye-opening to dive into this world and understand the complexities and nuances of this often overlooked profession.
And I hope our listeners will walk away with a newfound appreciation for the vital role meter readers play in our daily lives.
Yeah, I definitely have a new appreciation for what they do.
Me too.
It's funny, we started this deep dive thinking we were gonna, uncover the secrets to landing a job as a meter reader.
Right, like how to ace the interview.
Exactly, but we ended up with so much more than that.
We got a real glimpse into the world of a meter reader,
Yeah, it's like we peeled back the layers of something we see every day.
but never really stopped to think about.
And those layers revealed a lot more than I expected.
Complexity, dedication.
Yeah, even a touch of adventure.
It really is fascinating when you think about it.
It makes you appreciate all those unseen forces.
They keep our world running smoothly.
And the people behind those forces.
Right, the everyday heroes.
Who often go unnoticed.
So to all the meter readers out there,
Braving the elements, making sure our utilities work.
we salute you.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of meter readers
We hope you learned something new
and gained a fresh perspective.
on a profession that's so vital to our communities.
And maybe, just maybe,
The next time you see a meter reader,
you'll give them a smile.
or a wave of appreciation,
Because behind every meter reading
is a story
of hard work and resilience.
and a commitment to keeping our world connected.
Until next time, keep exploring
Keep learning.
and keep diving deep into the fascinating world around us.